of a points victory over former world champion James Bonecrusher Smith. No mean feat that. Let's go back and rejoin our commentary team of Glenn McCrory and Ian Dark. Quite a fighting historian.
Yes, that's right. And Lennox Lewis knows that he's not only got to win here, but win impressively. He's in the shop window again in the United States. Here's Levi Billups, the 31-year-old from San Diego, the former linebacker for the now defunct LA Express Pro football team. A man who shocked Bonecrusher Smith in his last fight, although I think we should have the rider that Bonecrusher is now 38. He's not the force he once was in his world title days, and indeed when he fought Frank Bruno. That's the scene at ringside. Lennox Lewis about to enter the ring here. Lewis, by the way, making his Las Vegas debut here. It's his fourth fight in America. He's appeared at Atlantic City, in Lake Tahoe and Atlanta, but now he's in the boxing capital, Glenn.
He certainly is, and this is the place he's got to impress, and it'll be interesting to see how he does. Billups is obviously he's going to be a little bit confident himself. I know Bonecrusher's over the hill, but you know, he's going to still, it's a big name that he's just beaten, so he's going to have a little bit of confidence from that. So it's an interesting fight for Lennox. He's got to come through it good.
He certainly can't afford any mistakes here. Lennox Lewis, who's won all 18 of his professional contests so far, and remember, Cassius Clay, as he then was, won the world heavyweight title in his 19th fight, and this is Lennox Lewis's 19th fight tonight. He's not so very far away either. I think one of the big things about Lennox Lewis is he's got a wonderful temperament for a top-level sportsman.
He has. He's very cool and he's very classy, and he's a very good fighter, as I can attest to. The surprising thing when I fought Lennox, what I found was he's very long, and you think of him as a boxer, but he's also very strong. I found that he's very strong inside, throws you about, meshes you about, and that's not what you expect from him.
Lennox Lewis, the British and European heavyweight champion, looks very, very composed, doesn't he? Highly ranked by all the governing bodies, and an unbeaten record there. One disqualification win, and the only man to take him to a points decision, Ozzy Ocasio, that experienced Puerto Rican who was a world cruiserweight champion. Billups trying to ignore all the peripheries here. There's his record. He's won 16, lost 5. He's got 9 knockouts on his record. That Bonecrusher Smith one was easily the best win. He was beaten in 3 rounds by Michael Moorer. Lewis will want to get the job done a good deal quicker than that. Well, I think we can check now on the tail of the tape for this fight, as Billups goes through his routine there in the corner. Lewis 5 years younger. He's much taller. Billups a bit heavier. And there the average punches thrown per round in their last fight. Just a little check for you. Lewis with the greater percentage landed by some distance.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, man your battle stations. 10 rounds of boxing. This is in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 228 pounds. Wearing the red trunks with gold trim, he's from San Diego, California. His professional record, 16-5 with 9 KOs. And in his last victory, he defeated former world heavyweight champion James Bonecrusher Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Levi Billups. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red and black trunks and weighing in at 225 pounds. This 1988 super heavyweight gold medal champion from the 88 Olympics is also the British and European title holder. His record as a professional, 18-0 with 16 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, from East London, England, the pride of Britain, Lennox Lewis.
Referee for this one, by the way, is Richard Stil, who's had 1 or 2 controversies in his time.
Okay, you guys, I gave you instructions in the dressing room. I want to caution again, obey my commands at all times. Shake hands and good luck.
So Lennox Lewis prepares for his 19th professional fight, and he sincerely hopes his 19th professional win. As he says, he's knocking on the door of the world heavyweight title now. Billups looking for another famous name scalp.
It's going to be interesting to see how Lennox starts this fight, because in recent fights he started very quick, and I think that gives some intention as to what frame of mind he's in.
Big height and reach advantages for Lewis, who starts fast. And there he gets a warning from the referee.
A little bit of elbow he used on the break there. He sort of pulled away with the top of his elbow.
And he's warning them that he won't hesitate to disqualify them for persistent fouling. Lewis looking much the taller man in there, as you can see. Billups, who's 31 years of age, 5 years older. This is the third of 4 fights in which Lennox Lewis has been given big highlighting on American television. Some good head punches going in from him there.
He's opening up with a few nice shots, but Billups looks a little bit slippery and close.
He's 31, Billups, as we were saying, but he looks a bit older than that, doesn't he?
He does look a bit older. He looks a little bit softer on the body as well.
Oh, good right to the head, and then a left dug in underneath the ribs by Lewis. Nice variety about that work. Lennox Lewis using this 82-inch reach of his, batting home a couple of jabs this time.
Come on, work your way in.
Just get the impression that in Britain people are just beginning to start to talk and recognise the talent now of Lennox Lewis. They've been a little bit slow to realise what we had on our hands, and maybe that's something to do with his Canadian connection, but he insists that when he goes for the title it'll be for Britain, and again that's a good combination there.
He's throwing some good shots. He does have he has a good array of punches, and he's using them all here, and I think he might need to, because this fella, he throws some some dodgy looking swings.
Come on, don't hold him. Come on, work your way out.
Billups looks a little bit cagey. He's doing things which fighters don't normally do. He leads with big swinging right hands, and that might cause Lewis a little few problems.
Good right to the body from Billups, then a right uppercut inside.
Nice uppercut.
And he comes back with another right. We've never yet seen Lennox Lewis under real pressure in his career. That would be very interesting when that happens, though I suppose from a British point of view you wouldn't want it to happen in a fight like this one.
Certainly not. He's on the verge of a major world title fight, and I think we all want to see him in there.
Shoot the jab as much as you lie, okay? When it's close to you, bring your hand because look, he hits you. Okay?
Richard,
Levi Billups, who was knocked out by All-In Norris on his debut. And Lennox Lewis is putting the grease around the head there. John Davenport and Harold Knight in the corner.
Okay.
Here's Lewis with the right to the body, hanging on for dear life there, Billups. And there was the elbow going in. I don't think he could really help that, Lewis.
Yes, it looked like he was trying to get free. Billups had him round the legs at the time.
Richard Stil moved in very quickly there as they await the bell for round 2. Thought for a moment it wasn't working or something. First appearance at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas for Lewis. Good right from him there.
That's better. That's what he's got to do. He's got to use that reach and get the jab going. Once he's got his jab going, his other shots will come. He's got a tremendous reach, and he must use it.
Been over here for a few weeks, training on the west coast of America. Lewis will be back fighting in Britain next month against Derek Sweet D. Williams in a triple title fight.
Keep him in front.
It's good, isn't it, Lewis's jab?
It's very good. It's very good. And when he uses it, it has a great effect. It's so long, so powerful as well. And he can put so many good shots behind that.
Yes, it's the stock weapon, the key that opens the door for him.
That's right. He also fights well inside, Lennox. He covers up nice and throws some nice combinations. He uses the uppercut well.
A good right uppercut inside there from Billups this time. And he certainly looks a little bit more menacing, a little bit more ambitious than Tyrell Biggs was.
He does look ambitious, and Lennox hasn't got to get too relaxed in there. You know, this guy looks as if he can punch. He's done some good punching in the past, so Lennox has got to be careful and go through with his work.
Lewis will be watched very closely here by the American boxing writers, and he hopes for rave reviews from them. Oh, that's nice. Body punching followed up by the short whipping right cross to the head from the British and European champion.
A nice combination. He showed his class there.
Come on, work it out.
His defense is quite tight too. He gets his gloves up well, doesn't he? When Billups tries to counter like there.
He does. He keeps them up nice, and he must do that. So, you know, Billups looks strong. He looks like he can throw a good punch.
Strong and a little bit dangerous with the uppercut by the look of it.
That was twice he's hurt Lewis with a good uppercut.
Don't hold him, don't hold him. Let him down, let him go.
This is where Lennox has got to get out, use the jab. Keep away from Billups. Don't get involved in a mess, because a good fight can quickly become poor and he get some bad reviews. He needs to keep it, use the jab, use what he's got.
Come on, work it out, don't hold his head. Right, don't hold his head.
He needs to keep the American television people interested in him. They've given him quite big promotion over here.
Break, step back.
And he hopes that they'll renew the deal. End of the second round. Lewis looking superior, but Billups is not just there to lie down, quite clearly.
He isn't. He's gonna fight all the way. He looks very strong, a little bit awkward, and I think he can give Lennox some problems. So, Lewis has got to keep nice and sharp and do the stuff. It looks like he may have a little nick just under that eye there.
Now Gavin, the cut man, just working on that. I don't think it's anything very serious. Billups, who's been a professional since 1986, twice as long as Lennox Lewis. But he's been a kind of win some, lose some sort of fighter, but if he can upset the prospect on a bill like this, doors could open for him in quite a big way. That was a nice right uppercut from him.
A nice uppercut. He threw some good shots too. Lewis was on top all the time, but he still come back with some good shots.
Round 3 then, due to go 10 here. I'll check for you. Unhelpfully, both of them wearing red, but I don't really think you've got too many identification problems, have you? Oh, that's the right hand that hurt Tyrell Biggs so much from Lewis.
Punching it out there, punching it out. Put your arms back.
Short, chopping motion into the side of the forehead.
That's it. He gets you right around the side of the head. It didn't do me any favours either, Ian.
I wasn't going to mention it, Glenn.
Thank you.
Come on, punching it out there.
Just measuring Billups for size there with the left hand, rather in the way that Larry Holmes, I remember, used to do.
He did. He used that shot, and he used it very well. And it looks like Lennox has watched some tapes. He's picked it up.
John Davenport, his trainer, has been working on making Lennox Lewis a bit less like your classical British boxer. Just a bit more, wants him a bit more relaxed, rolling around a bit more.
I think he's managing to do that. He's thrown some good punches there. He's shown big right hands. He doubled up on the left hook before. His guard's pretty good, although he took a nice uppercut there. That looks to be the one shot that has managed to get through so far, the uppercut to Lewis.
Yes, Billups has obviously watched tapes. Lewis there being warned for holding Billups behind the head and possibly attempting to pull him onto the punches.
Billups is very awkward. He certainly hasn't got a classical style. As you see there, he led with the right uppercut. I mean, certainly not in the textbook, but at times that sort of fighting can work.
Well, this is the round, of course, that Michael Moorer finished off Levi Billups. So time is running out for Lennox Lewis if he wants to do it quicker.
No, I think Billups still looks pretty strong and pretty cagey.
Come on, Parker, get out, no holding.
This is a knowing sort of fighter, been around a little bit. And of course, even at 38, fighters like Bone Crusher Smith, the last thing you lose is the punch, as they say. So if he lasted the distance with Bone Crusher, he's plenty durable enough, I guess. Not only lasted the distance, of course, but won it. Got off the floor, too.
I think obviously that will have given him some confidence. Bone Crusher, was a big name, was a world champion, and he's beat him. So that, I think he's coming in this fight actually fancying it.
Bell goes to end the third round, and once again, right on the bell there, Levi Billups showing that he carries some menace with that right uppercut.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. You have to use your right, okay? You don't use your right, okay? Come on, sweetheart.
Don't be going straight back. Go straight back.
There are some British fans with the Union flag giving their support to Lennox Lewis, and they'd love to come back here if and when he challenges for the world heavyweight title. And there's some of the Michael Moorer camp just taking their places now. Just come out of the dressing room. I think Moorer himself now is watching Lennox Lewis's performance. There was some talk before this fight, by the way, Glenn, when they were struggling to make this bill work, opponents dropping out right, left and centre, that possibly Lewis would meet Moorer.
Well, that would be. We've seen Moorer, and he's very good, and I was very impressed with Moorer. And I'm very impressed with Lewis, so that would be a very good fight. And it'd be interesting to see how Moorer could handle that jab of Lewis's. But, he has a very good jab, but behind the jab, he has a great arsenal behind it.
Fourth round, Lennox Lewis in control, boxing for the most part behind his jab. Left hook as well. Billups is absorbing it all at the moment.
It was a nice little move that Lennox did there. He stepped to the right and hit him on a left hook. So he's obviously got the confidence. He's trying some things here. He started this round very well. He looks in control.
Apart from Billups' win over Bone Crusher Smith, he also beat the useful Mike the Bounty Hunter back in 1987 in Los Angeles on points. And he beat Jerry Quarry's brother, Bobby Quarry. And has won and lost against Mike the Giant White, who you may have seen earlier on against Michael Moorer.
So his record proves that he can pull out good performances now and again.
Lennox Lewis, who had a very good 1991, stopping Gary Mason, knocking out Mike Weaver, beating Glenn McCrory, sitting alongside me. I hate to keep mentioning it.
I thought you weren't going to mention it.
And stopping Tyrell Biggs as well.
Come on, work, work.
Well, he's Camber, keeping him nice and busy. He is a man on a mission. That was a couple of good left hooks.
And a right cross in there as well from Lewis. And they did just seem to shake Billups a little, but only a little.
Work, work. You hold and break.
Billups doesn't look the best conditioned heavyweight you've ever seen, does he?
He doesn't. I mean, he doesn't do a lot. What he does in spurts. And that's where he's dangerous, because Lewis can You know, that type of fighter can draw you to go to sleep, to relax a little bit, and then he can explode with a big punch. So this is a good education fight for Lewis. He's got to be careful in there, and he's trying a lot of good moves. I know it looks impressive when a fighter goes out and keeps on knocking all his opponents out, but in the long run, they need to get some rounds under the belt. They need to get some good fights.
Work! Keep him up, keep him up. Right!
And there goes the bell to end the 4th round. Lewis is in charge. Yes, you're watching Lennox Lewis with his name up in lights in Las Vegas, exclusively on Sky Television. Up here against Levi Billups. And on my scorecard, I've given Lewis each of the first 4 rounds, but Billups has looked dangerous with right uppercuts.
Yes, Lewis is nicely in control, but again, he's got to be careful. Billups certainly isn't out of there yet.
Come on, work and get out, work and get out.
Superbly conditioned athlete, of course, Lennox Lewis, with that dazzling amateur career behind him, culminating in his Olympic gold medal in Seoul when he beat another of the big prospects in the professional game now, Riddick Bowe. And those two could be on for a rematch, maybe with the title itself at stake, if Riddick Bowe can handle Evander Holyfield when they meet in early May.
Let's work, let's work!
Lewis has got to get this job done first.
And he's not finding this job all that easy. It's a good fight for him, it's a good test.
Good left hook from Lennox Lewis. Billups takes it and comes back with some leather of his own.
Billups has took all of Lennox's shots pretty well. He hasn't really looked hurt at any point.
I think one thing we can definitely say on what we've seen tonight is that Lennox Lewis is not such an explosive hitter as Michael Moorer.
No, he doesn't have the explosive power. I mean, he's quite a lot bigger than Moorer, but not the explosive power that Moorer has. But he does do a lot more than Moorer. And it's always difficult because different opponents, different styles make different fights. So we can't really read too much into it until they fight. But it would be a fantastic matchup.
Oh, there's a good left to the body from Lewis, thrown with good hand speed as well. He's well in control of things at the moment, and Billups isn't the most concussive puncher known to man, and what he has produced, well, Lennox Lewis has taken the punches well.
Yes, Lennox is definitely in control. He's doing some nice stuff here. It's nice to see him. It's nice to see that he's learning. He's learned from these fights. He's doubled up on the uppercut and come out on the left hook. Now they sometimes look easy, but that's very difficult stuff to throw.
But he's finding this experienced man very cagey and extremely durable.
Keep him in front. Come on, work, get out. Let's go.
Having said all that, Billups is being outboxed.
Oh, he's been well outboxed. Lewis is firmly in control.
Bell goes to end the 5th round, and don't know about you, Glenn, that's another one I've chalked down to Lennox Lewis.
Definitely Lennox's round, definitely.
That's what I'm talking
about. Billups is still there, and he's still trying to put up a good fight.
Sweet. But everything's off the jab, okay? Everything is off the jab, okay? I want you sucking around, giving them good angles, okay? Nothing but combinations, okay? All right? Nothing but combinations. This guy's got a big fat head sitting on a block of granite, man. Okay? So you can't knock everybody out. So it's all right.
The voice of John Davenport in the corner.
Short punch is good, baby.
Telling him to work behind the jab, find angles, throw the combinations, which is basically what he's been doing, really.
That's right. It's good sense that he keeps telling him not to forget the jab, because at times he does tend to stand in front of Billups, and that's when it could be dangerous. If he keeps everything behind the jab, it keeps it clean, and he can bring his shots off the jab.
Well, wouldn't it be exciting if Lennox Lewis was to fight for the world heavyweight title, and of course he would be, if he won it, Britain's first world heavyweight champion this century.
Well, I think the way Lennox is going, he's certainly going to get his chance.
He's got a lot going for him. There's a lot of class there.
He has. I think, you know, he's been groomed from it from a young age. He's done everything right. He's won the Olympics. He's come through and he's done it all well. And, you know, let's hope he can do something. We've had our differences in the past, but I still hope he can win.
Good right there, wasn't it? Knocked Billups' head right back on his shoulders. Billups' gloves have dropped noticeably. He's not really getting them up anymore to protect that head. It's an open target for Lewis.
And over the last few rounds, it's been more evident that Lewis is getting more in control, and Billups isn't throwing as much back as he did in the first couple of rounds.
Yes, we haven't seen so much of that uppercut in the last couple of rounds, have we?
That's right. That is stopped. He tried it there, but he's not getting the success that he had. He looks as if he's trying to mess Lewis about a little bit. He's trying to grab, he's trying to hold.
Lewis, for once, has to cover up as Billups launches an assault. Most of those punches, to be fair to Lewis, are landing on the gloves.
Yes, I think Lewis feels that Billups maybe can't hurt him now. And now he's starting to stand in front of him. He keeps his hands up, but he's standing there. I think he's looking to get in range so he can use his own big shot.
Well, Lennox Lewis is getting the job done at the moment, but I doubt, quite frankly, whether he's making the kind of impression he made with that 3-round destruction of Tyrell Biggs. Good left hooks from Billups. Still dangerous.
That's some good shots. That's what happens when Lennox stands in front of guys. He's got to keep that jab sticking out. He's got to keep busy.
This, I think, has been Lennox Lewis' least impressive round so far. He's just looked a bit more ragged and a little frustrated.
Well, Billups looked tired at the beginning of the round. It looks like, in a little way, he's brought Lennox down a bit. You know, he stepped down a gear.
Of course, Lennox Lewis has rarely been asked to go this far. And if there's a 9th round here, that will be the furthest he's ever had to go. So maybe some questions about his stamina will be answered as well here.
That's right. It'll be interesting to see if he can pick up a gear and another gear in the 9th and the 10th round.
Billups' best round. Coming out then now for the 7th round here. Levi Billups did pretty well in that 6th round. And Lewis will be aware by now, if he wasn't beforehand, that this might be quite a tough job for him. He's in control of it all right. He's winning the rounds. But Billups is pushing him all the way, staying with him a little.
I think the one thing we haven't seen in this fight so far is we haven't seen any urgency from Lennox. He's been a little bit content to you know, just to throw little clusters and then sit back or stand in front of Billups. We haven't seen the urgency where he's gonna push Billups back and have the courage to stand in front of him and throw a lot of shots. You know, he hasn't stepped up that other gear.
Yes, I think one criticism that you could possibly just aim at him at this stage of the fight is he looks a bit one-paced at the moment and a little lacking in variety.
He does. The things he's done very well, and he's thrown some nice shots and some nice combinations. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more devil with an opponent like Billups.
Have to be honest and say that very few of this crowd packed into Caesars Palace, Las Vegas today are probably thinking at this moment that they're watching a future world heavyweight champion. But Lennox Lewis, of course, will aim to prove them very, very wrong about that.
Don't push!
He's done some good things and he's in control, but you're right. I think your people maybe will have expected a little bit more of him that he hasn't answered.
That has been a criticism of him in the past, that he's just tended to get a little lazy and coast a little in his fights, although when I put that one to him, well, that's a good right hand from him, though, he said that it's a deliberate ploy. But I guess he would say that. Another right.
It's always going to be hard to tell because, as you said, we've never seen Lennox Lewis in trouble yet.
He's starting to get through with some quite booming right hands in this round, Lewis. Starting to find the target and the range nicely. Billups' gloves have dropped. He's looking more tired himself now. It's almost as if Lennox Lewis was listening to what we were saying, wasn't it? He just found a little spurt.
But again, I think people would want to see, you know, it's still all one pace. I think people would want to see that spurt carry on. We want to see him with a little bit of devil in his work and stand in front of Billups and keep punching. He hasn't done that. Too much of this where he stands and covers up and then comes back on a few shots.
Cal goes to end the 7th round. I suppose another question, really, Glenn, in assessing Lennox Lewis is how many people could you see beating him on points if it came to it in a title fight?
Well, that's right. He is very good. Sometimes, I think Gary said earlier that he doesn't look actually as good as he is. He is good. He does have long arms. That reach is immense. I mean, he hits you from the other side of the ring.
Well, if some of our criticisms of Lennox Lewis might seem a shade harsh to you in a fight that he's clearly winning, well, you have to judge him by the very highest standards, and that's exactly the way he would want it on his mission to become world heavyweight champion. It's only the best he's going to do. Good left in there from Lennox Lewis. Oh, he's finding some different angles now for the punches.
This is what we need to see. We need to see him pick it up and stay there and keep throwing the punches. I think that's the only way he's going to get Billups out of there.
He stepped up a gear at the start of this round. Can he keep up that pace and pressure? Oh, great left hand. This is better from Lennox Lewis.
At times you almost want to shout out, come on, Lennox. You know he can do it. You know he can put the combinations in. You know he has the power to stand over Billups and get him out of there. But at times, he gets a little bit lazy, as you said.
Billups still throwing leather. Hasn't really been shaken up or dazed by anything that Lewis has thrown today.
Lewis has tagged him a few times, but nothing's really shook him up.
The jab going in with insistent regularity from Lewis. Must be quite sickening for Levi Billups to keep on having to eat that jab all night long like that. But he doesn't look very marked up around the face, Billups.
He's managing to do some decent work of his own inside Billups as well. See, this is where Lennox should get back on the jab. He's a class above Billups, and at times he doesn't show that.
Oh, that's a good right hand from Lennox Lewis. Good, solid, meaty shot. But once again, it just bounces off the chin of this durable man from San Diego.
His corner keeps shouting out for him to use the jab, Lennox, and he does the best work behind it. It's working beautiful there now.
Well, he's beginning to just work Billups over a little bit behind that jab. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Tripling up on the jabs. Quite a classy little interlude there from Lewis. Wonder what those fans are making of it, Glenn.
Well, I think there'll be a bit of a mixed response. The work he's done has been very good, but I think people want to see a bit more of it. And a nice shot led with the right hand there and come back with the left jab. Good moves.
Well, he's a mile in front, Lennox Lewis. There's no doubt about that.
Jab. You understand me? Okay, hook. Okay? Come on, baby. Have fun with it, though. Okay?
Have fun with it, they're saying to Lennox Lewis. Round 9. Lennox Lewis, red and black trunks. And this is the first time in his career that he's ever been this far. The previous furthest was an 8-round points win over Ozzy Ocasio in June of 1990. Hasn't been a particularly spectacular fight, but Lewis has paraded his boxing skills, but when he's moved up into world top 10 level, of course, he won't be able to have things quite his own way, in the same way as he would against the Levi Billups.
That's right. If he steps in with a Tyson or a Holyfield, it's certainly going to be a different story. And let's hope Lennox can answer them questions. Let's hope he's got enough in the reserve tank to be able to do what he's got to do in that class. I think Lennox has done a very good job, and he's boxing very well, using the jab, using lots of shots. But I think people will maybe expect a bit more of him in this performance.
Well, Olympic champions have gone on to be world heavyweight champions before in the professional game. Floyd Patterson, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, to name but a few.
Step back. Come on.
He certainly has the right qualifications. He's done, he is doing everything that's asked of him.
Let's walk.
Gets his gloves up well there, Lennox Lewis, to stop the counter from Billups. And those defensive qualities, very important. That's a nice variety from him. Left to the body, back comes Billups. Decent little cluster from him, Glenn.
He's been a cagey opponent, and he's put a good fight in there. He hasn't been there just to roll over. He's done a good job. He's tried all the way through it.
Without posing a significant threat.
No, Lewis has always been in control, and he's always been able to do pretty much what he wants to do. But Billups has given him something to think about.
Short little left hook this time from Lennox Lewis. The way this is shaping up, looks like Lennox Lewis may be taken to a points decision for only the second time in his 2 3/4 year career.
It's interesting to hear the referee keeps telling them both to work, so obviously he's maybe a little bit dissatisfied, thinks he can do more.
End of the 9th round, and I don't think the crowd, to be honest with you, have been that excited with this. I think possibly they've admired the boxing skills of Lennox Lewis, but
every time you train him,
whether they think he has the qualities to become champion, well,
Non-stop.
open to question possibly.
put it out, man.
Yes, he has done a good job, but it's pretty much been all at one pace, and he hasn't really, he hasn't stood over him and really had a go. That's the last round, and his corner's saying non-stop. I think the corner even wants to show that we all know he can do it. We just want to see him do it.
Well, if Billups wants to win this, he needs a knockout. There's no doubt about that.
Nice left hook.
And that's good. He doubled up on the left hook as well. Out comes Billups now. And Lewis is quite happy to stand and trade with him. Not content just to stay out of trouble in this last round and box his way to the points win. He's saying to Billups, well, if you want to have a serious argument, I'll do that with you as well.
He's putting his shots together nice, Lewis. But again, he throws 5 and then he stops and goes inside. I think, you know, people will ask questions about Lewis's stamina.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any sort of question of him fading in this fight. Merely that he has tended to have flat passages in it.
That's right, and at no point has he really picked it up.
Quite a good exhibition of Lennox Lewis's boxing skills. But Billups is coming back, and Lewis with his gloves down by his side and some right hands studying in there. Lewis takes those well. He is looking a little bit tired now as we move towards the last minute of the fight.
He is, and if he's been too relaxed or too lackadaisical about it, he's making a mistake, because people will judge him on this.
Oh, look at that.
That's better.
5-6 punch combination. Oh, and once again, now this is as good as we've seen right the way through.
This is the stuff he needs to finish with.
And that takes real class to put punches together in 6 or 7 punch combinations like that.
But he still hasn't heard Billups. Billups is still there, and he's still throwing the punches back.
And to be fair to Billups, he's done rather more than survive, hasn't he?
He has. He's put up a fairly decent argument.
He's the kind of fighter who may make quite a few contenders look a bit on the ordinary side. But Lewis is finishing very strongly here.
Step back, step back. Step back, let go.
He's looking a little tired, Lewis. He's done some nice work in this last round.
And there goes the bell to end it. Lennox Lewis has taken the full distance of 10 rounds for the first time since June of 1990 against Ozzy Ocasio. And I don't think there can be very much doubt about which way the decision will go. In fact, Lewis, I think, won just about every round. Let's find out.
Here at Caesar's Palace we go to the scorecards. Art Lowry scores the belt 99-91. Bill Grimm has it 98-92, and Dave Moretti scores it 100-90 for the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated, the pride of Britain, Lennox Lewis.
Gets a slightly mixed reception, so Lennox Lewis remains unbeaten, 19 fights unbeaten, and one of the judges there gave him every single round. And one of the others only gave Billups 1 round. There is a punch statistic. Lennox Lewis winning then. Good boxing exhibition, but exciting.